Hello everyone, I am your host Yasub from pythontips.com, and in this video we will be taking a look at my favorite 14 top Python libraries and frameworks. The very first library we will be taking a look at is the requests library by Kenneth Reitz. I love this library and it has made the lives of so many Python developers so much easier. It comes pre-packaged with a lot of the required and optional HTTP and HTTPS functionality. You can submit multi-part forms or you can do streaming downloads. I have personally not encountered any web requests related use case which this library has not been able to handle by default. The next library is the TQDM library. TQDM is an Arabic word and is pronounced taqaddum, which means progress. This library makes your regular for and while loops in Python so much more visually appealing and informative. It gives your loops a smart progress bar. Just wrap any iterable with taqaddum and you are done. Do you remember the requests library we talked about? Well, you can also wrap the object returned by requests in taqaddum and you will have a beautiful file download progress bar. How many times have you ever had to manipulate images by hand? What if there was a library which you can use to automate boring image manipulation tasks? Well, look no further. The Pillow library does exactly that. You can use Pillow to crop, rotate, scale and sharpen your images. You can also create thumbnails and do all sorts of crazy image manipulation tasks with this extremely useful and simple image processing library. I remember a time when I had to print out 300 ID cards. I could either waste one complete paper to print one ID card, or I could lay out 6 ID cards on one page and print the 300 ID cards more efficiently while saving a ton of paper. Needless to say, I used Pillow to automate the task. It saved me hours of work and in the end everyone was happy. Do you know that the original Google crawler was partly written in Python? If you ever want to create your own crawler or scraper, you can use this next library. It is not exactly a library but rather more of a framework. Scrapy is an advanced web scraping library which allows you to extract data from almost all sorts of websites. Scrapy has built-in login handling, redirect handling, and request throttling. It also takes care of robots.txt file so that you can scrape websites without putting a lot of burden on a particular website. In just a few lines of Python code, you can start extracting data from LinkedIn, Steam, or any other favorite website of yours. Python is increasingly being used for data science. This increasing popularity can be attributed to a couple of really important libraries. The first one is NumPy. It is the fundamental package for scientific computing with Python. There are a lot of really good NumPy tutorials out there which can help get you up to speed very quickly. It adds support for large multi-dimensional arrays and matrices along with a large collection of high-level mathematical functions to operate on those arrays. The major benefit of using NumPy as compared to regular Python lists is that NumPy arrays are space and time efficient and can do the same task much more quickly. Next up, we have Pandas. Pandas stands for Python Data Analysis Library and is a game changer when it comes to data analysis with Python. Pandas takes data from a CSV, TSV or a SQL database and creates a Python object with rows and columns which you can easily manipulate. Pandas can handle missing data and time series data. It uses NumPy under the hood and hence is extremely fast. Pandas has been used extensively in production in financial applications and is increasing in popularity day by day. All of the network developers and ethical hackers among you will love this next library. Scapy is a powerful interactive packet manipulation program written in Python. It is able to forge or decode packets of a wide number of protocols, send them on the wire, capture them, match requests and replies, and much more. It can easily handle most classical tasks like scanning, trace routing, probing, attacks, and network discovery. When you are exploring data using NumPy and Pandas, you often need to plot it as well. This is where Matplotlib comes in play. It is a Python 2D plotting library which produces publication quality figures. You can generate plots, histograms, bar charts, and all sorts of other charts with just a few lines of code. It is extensively used by the scientific community to plot their findings using Python. It is usually used to plot inline charts in the Jupyter Notebook. There are countless GUI libraries for Python. There is PyQt, PySide, WXPython, tkinter, among others. However, when you want to develop mobile apps, then you always hear about Kiwi first. Kiwi is a Python library for rapid development of cross-platform GUI applications. Before Kiwi, it was extremely hard to use Python to create apps for Android and iOS. But now, not only is it doable, but also extremely easy. The apps made with Kiwi are not as performant as native apps, but if you want to use Python to develop them, then Kiwi is your best option. Next up, we have NLTK. NLTK is a natural language processing toolkit for Python. It assists in analyzing natural text and helps the computer to make sense of it. NLTK can be used for automatic article summarization, topic segmentation, and sentiment analysis. It is also used to create applications like Alexa and Google Assistant. This list would be incomplete without a machine learning related library. Let's talk about Keras. Keras is a high-level neural networks API written in Python by a Google engineer. It allows for easy and fast prototyping of your neural networks. It supports both convolutional networks and recurrent networks, as well as a combination of the two, and it runs seamlessly on CPU and GPU. Instead of using TensorFlow directly, you can use Keras as a front end. Keras' interface is much more simpler as compared to TensorFlow, and you don't have to worry about a lot of low-level details. When you are dealing with databases in Python, there is a high probability that you will encounter SQL Alchemy. SQL Alchemy is a well-regarded and battle-tested database toolkit and object relational mapper implementation written in Python. SQL Alchemy provides a generalized interface for creating and executing database-agnostic code without needing to write SQL statements. A benefit many developers enjoy with SQL Alchemy is that it allows them to write Python code in their project to map from the database schema to the application's Python objects. No SQL is required to create, maintain, and query the database. Now let's talk about the web development frameworks in Python. Django is a high-level Python web framework which takes out most of the effort from developing a web application. It comes pre-packaged with most of the functionality you would expect from a web framework. It comes with an ORM, user authentication and authorization code, and an admin interface. It is used by Pinterest, Instagram, Disqus, and NASA. YouTube is full of really good Django tutorials which can help you get up to speed with this amazing web development framework. Next up, we have Twisted. Twisted is an event-driven networking engine written in Python. It contains implementation for a ton of different protocols, so most of the time you will have access to a proper API which you can use to talk to any remote system. It contains implementation for HTTP, SMTP, SSH, Telnet, and a whole lot of other protocols. Twisted is used by a lot of very famous companies like NASA, Justin TV, FluidDB, and Lucasfilm. And yeah, Lucasfilm is the same studio which produced Star Wars and Indiana Jones. This list is no way near complete. There are a lot of other really amazing libraries out there. I will be listing some of them in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be uploading a lot of Python related content in the near future, so if you want to stay updated, please press the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.